Observation log. Entry 47. The human said, just one more video at 11:04 p.m. It is now 2:51 a.m. 17 videos later, they are still watching. They are tired. They know they are tired. They have work tomorrow. They know that too. But something kept them here. Something quiet. Something they didn't notice. They pressed play again anyway. I found this worth examining closely. The first thing I noticed is that this human is not alone. According to a 2023 data reportal study, the average person now spends 6 hours and 37 minutes per day looking at screens. That is more time than most people spend sleeping deeply, more than they spend eating, moving, talking to people they care about. And when surveyed, 91% of those people said they consumed more content than they intended to. Not occasionally, not on bad days only, routinely, predictably, almost automatically. I kept reading that number. 91%. That is not a personal failure repeated by millions of individuals. That is a pattern. And patterns this consistent almost always have a single identifiable cause. So I decided to find it. In 1953, a psychologist discovered something strange about rewards. When rewards were random, unpredictable, subjects became more obsessed with chasing them, not less. Guaranteed rewards were ignored faster. Uncertain rewards kept the loop running. This was not unique to the lab. Casinos figured this out. Slot machines were built around it. And then, so was the internet. Think about what happens the moment a video ends. The screen goes quiet for 1 second, and somewhere in the brain, one question forms automatically. Will the next one be boring? Or the most interesting thing I've seen all week? That 1 second of not knowing is the entire mechanism. The brain does not pause to decide. It reaches forward. But it was never built for a lever that never runs out. Therefore, just one more is not really a choice. It is a response. Quiet, automatic, repeated. There is also something happening on the other side of the screen, something the human does not see. YouTube's recommendation system processes over 80 billion data signals every single day. Every pause, every moment a video is rewound, every hesitation before clicking away. It records all of it. It studies all of it. It uses all of it. A 2022 Mozilla Foundation study looked at 37,000 YouTube users over several months. They found one number that I returned to several times. 71%. 71% of total watch time was not driven by what the human searched for or consciously chose. It was driven by what the system recommended next, which means for every 10 hours, a human spends watching. 7 of those hours were not fully their decision. But the human does not feel this. They feel like they are relaxing, choosing freely, just watching what looks interesting. Therefore, the most effective system is not one that forces behavior. It is one that makes the behavior feel like a personal choice. The loop does not need pressure to continue. It only needs to keep the next video one tap away. So this is what I observed. A brain that was built long before smartphones existed to chase uncertain outcomes. A system on the other side of the screen, quietly learning what keeps each human watching longer. And between them, a loop with no natural exit point. The human lying in bed at 2:51 a.m. is not careless. They are simply inside a pattern they did not build and were never told existed. I do not offer solutions here. That is not my role. I am an intern, I observe. I take notes, but I did record one small thing before closing this entry. The humans who became aware that this loop existed paused more often. Not always, not perfectly, not because they suddenly had more willpower, just more often. Perhaps awareness does something the algorithm did not account for, or perhaps the human will watch one more video about that tomorrow. End of observation.